Hey everyone, welcome to A Mind for Fitness. I'm your host, Ian Carlin. I'm so glad you could make it today, where we talk about this year on the program, where we talk about the issues that really matter regarding your health, regarding your fitness, your diet, your workout plan, all that good stuff, all those things that matter that are going to help you get to your weight loss goals. And if you want to get to your weight loss goals, and if you already reached them, to maintain them. And as many of you know, if you've been following me here on YouTube or you've been following me on Instagram, I am finally getting down to my weight loss goals. I have a weigh-in tomorrow. Uh, it's been so important to me, and it's been um, so much of a long journey because I've been floating around my goals for a long time. And if you want the skinny on all that, and I'm finally, making a commitment to it and updating everything I eat and my intermittent fasting plan, all that stuff on Instagram. Exactly when I'm working out, what I'm doing, all that stuff is updated on Instagram, and a weekly weigh-in as well, and then talking about it and vlogging about it here on YouTube. So, I mean, it's also, I also post it a little bit on the Facebook page and a little bit on the Twitter page, and I talk about a little bit here on the podcast. But if you really want the full story of what I'm doing to shed the last little bit of weight, everything at least I'm trying to do to shed the last little bit of weight, you have to follow me on those platforms. So I went to those platforms specifically to document that. So I'm not documenting it all across all my platforms. I don't want to take a picture of my food, then upload it to Facebook, upload it to Instagram, upload it to, whatever, all the, Twitter, all that stuff. I just opened this Instagram account and did a little, just for the fact of following me through those last 17, 20 pounds of weight loss and how I kind of regained a little bit of weight again and what I'm doing to peel it off and my thoughts regarding that. So, if you want to follow me there, please do. Please go to my YouTube page too, and subscribe. It's always interesting. I was just looking at the counts of my last my last broadcast or whatever, or actually just where how many downloads I've gotten this month so far. And it's like 700 downloads, and I've got like only a few subscribers on YouTube. And it's totally been my fault. I mean, I've had this show for a long time, and I really have not had a big YouTube presence. And so I'm trying to up that. I'm trying to up my YouTube cred, and I've never really had an Instagram account, but I'm trying to up my Instagram cred too. So if you're interested in the YouTube and listening to me talk about like my trials throughout the week on my weight loss experience, please head over to YouTube and subscribe. It's just A Mind for Fitness there, and it's the same on Instagram, A Mind for Fitness on Instagram. So enough of that. Before we get into the topic of today's show, I also just want to kind of hawk my book on intermittent fasting. It's called Fasting to Break Your Plateau. Intermittent fasting has been a big part of my life for a long time now, and I'm using it to break down this last little bit of weight, and it's actually helped me go from 240 down to all the way down to 203 at one time. And intermittent fasting has been a part of that. So it's called Fasting to Break Your Plateau, a basic guide to intermittent fasting. You can find it on Amazon. It's only an ebook right now, and and it's free. So and it's really the only way that we have to support the program here. So if you're interested in that, please head on over and grab that book. It's absolutely free, and it's actually, if you're a Amazon Prime user, it's free. And if you're not an Amazon Prime user, it's only $2.99. So show some love, support the program, and it'll be linked here in the show notes as well to the book. All right, so with that, one more quick announcement, because this is kind of lead into what we're going to be talking about today. I am working on another ebook, and actually I'm working on two more ebooks, but this one I'm focusing on right now. Is basically about why your diet fails, why it breaks down, And so I've been just focusing on completing that ebook. And what I'm going to do is I have two more ebooks coming out. And then I have one on like kind of like weight loss, the mental game, all the mental stuff you need to know. And I'm only like one chapter away from finishing that one as well. And what has happened over the years is I tried to write a book, just this big long book on, the mental aspect and breakdowns of diets, but everything kind of changes over time. And so what I just decided to do was write these little ebooks, and what I will do is I'll put them into one book altogether that you can actually buy, because I know a lot of people out there want a paperback book. They don't just want the ebook. So I will basically take like three ebooks, one on intermittent fasting, one on why your diet breaks down, and then one um, on like on the mental aspect of finding that mental fortitude to stay on a diet and stay on a workout program. And I will just kind of put those into one big book, or one regular size book. It's all little small ebooks. So I am working on that. I'm working on this one on why diets fail. And so that's going to be the subject of what I'm going to be talking about as I'm going through it, and I'm kind of like hammering some stuff out. And the reason I do that is because, I want to get the information out on as many platforms as possible. So a lot of people like to read, but a lot of people like to listen as well. And quite honestly, and it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be another one of those things where if you're an Amazon Prime user, it's going to be free. It's going to be like $2.99 if you're not, and they're like free, because I want to get the information out there. Um, for people. And this is just another way. The audio is just another way, and the video, because you'll find this video up at YouTube. So if you want to watch it as well, you can. It's just another way to get the information out, because I want you to have the information out. And what kind of caused me to think about this a little bit more this week and decide to kind of do a show on this is not just that I'm getting close to having this book finished, but the other day, a coworker came into work, and announced that he was doing this juice fast diet. He asked me about it. He's like, "Oh, what do you think about the juice fast diet?" So if many of you don't know, like I have like a regular job as well. I don't just do this full time, but my regular job is only like 3 days a week, about approximately, sometimes 2 to 4 days a week. And I do this and my martial arts podcast the rest of the time. So I'm doing this part time and doing something else part time. Neither one of them is enough to sustain my income at this point. But I'm hoping that the more this show grows, the more I'll just be able to move into this full time. I mean, that is the goal. But with that, this kid comes in and he's just like, at my job, he's just like, "Oh, well, what do you think about this?" And of course, everybody there has seen my weight loss transformation, and they're coming around to like asking me questions on it and stuff. But he is making some huge mistakes that I cover in the book. And the chances, and I got to talk to him. I said, "Look, you just have some problems that you are experiencing, and one of them I'm going to be talking about here, and then the other one I'll be talking about here too, but not today. I don't think anyway today. Maybe if we get to it. So I want to talk about over the next few podcasts, um, why diets fail. I mean, what happens? What's the actual breakdown in why diets fail? And of course, there's not one answer. There are several answers, and this is why this book that I'm writing is it's short in one sense, because it's not like the chapters aren't terribly long. They're like 1 to 2 pages long a piece. It's it. But there's like 12 chapters. So I go through like 12 reasons why your diet is failing. And these are all things that I've been through myself and have experienced over the years. And these are all things that I've seen in other people as well. So today I want to talk about one of the biggest reasons why diets fail. And I'll probably talk about two reasons. But the biggest one, and this is what brought this up this week, was because this kid came in with this, is that he is working on a diet you cannot manage. One of the biggest reasons why diets fail is that people choose a diet that is completely unrealistic. It's a diet that I mean, quite honestly, you cannot manage. And what I mean by you cannot manage it is that it doesn't work in real life. Okay, that means you can't live it out in your day-to-day experience. As you get up in the morning and as you go to work and as you have friends and as you have family, it's, you have to ask yourself, is this diet really something that you can do, whether it's a juice fast or whatever. Now, these things work in the short term. I admit they work in the short term. They work really well, but in the long term, they don't work that well at all. The guy who wrote The Calorie Myth, Jonathan Baylor, talks about this on his podcast quite a bit. Like, if you want to make money, I can show you how to make money real quick. But is that sustainable and is it legal? It's just like, go rob a bank and you'll make money real quick. And if you want to lose weight, you can, there's some quick ways that you can lose weight, but is it sustainable? As soon as you're done with it, are you going to regain your weight back? And unfortunately, there is a whole host of diet out there that that's not sustainable, and they're not sustainable for a couple of reasons. So I want to go through a couple of these diets. Of course, the one is that juice fast. It's great, if you want to do a juice fast and do a detox plan. I'm totally for that. Like I said, fasting is a big part of my life. But you if you just go back after you're done with that juice fast and you just go back to eating, cheeseburgers and fries and pizza and things that are crap, high carbohydrate food and highly processed food, you're just going to gain the weight back. It doesn't matter how much weight you lost in that juice fast. It's not sustainable because you can't do a juice fast every day for the rest of your freaking life, right? You have to change. It has to become a lifestyle. So there's a couple of diets out there that you can lose weight on, but that just don't work. So the biggest one that I see out there and that I've tried that I've lost weight on is the either shake or, where you have like the shake in the morning and a shake at lunch. And then you have a quote unquote sensible dinner. Okay. Or you have this gross thing that's supposed to be something like a candy bar in the morning, and then something like a candy bar in for lunch, and then a sensible dinner. And again, like I said, people lose weight on this, and I'm one of those people who lost weight on a diet like this. Why does it work, and then why does it stop working? Well, it works at the very beginning because, of course, you are reducing the amount of carbohydrates you're eating, and so there's something to be said about reducing your caloric intake, but I don't really buy into that theory. I more buy into the hormonal theory of weight loss and weight gain. If you know anything about me and about this podcast, which I'm sure you do, and I have a podcast on why traditional diets work sometime for some people. Well, of course, if you stop eating, a donut in the morning, or two donuts or whatever, and then a burger and fries, and you limit yourself to this candy bar in this shake, which is significantly less in carbohydrates and higher in fiber and higher in protein, well, you're going to cut down on your insulin. So it works because, and normally the first couple weeks, depending upon your resolve, you're into it. You want to lose weight. You got fed up with being fat. You want to lose weight. And so you get you buy into this program and you get your 2 to 3 weeks worth of shake mix or your 2 to 3 weeks worth of candy bars. And you eat it in the morning and then you eat it at lunch and you're doing super and you're seeing, weight come off of you. And so you feel great. But what ends up happening? Well, what ends up happening is your alarm clock goes off late, or you're late for work. You jump out of bed. You don't have time to drink that morning shake. Furthermore, in your rush, you forget to pack your afternoon shake. Lunchtime comes. What do? Do you refrain from eating altogether, or eat something bad for you? Neither option is good. Or do you try to eat something sensible, quote unquote sensible? But honestly, the diet's not going to work if you don't follow it. They make sure of that. That way that you can continue to buy their shakes. Now, if you go off the diet, then are you really on it, and is it really going to work? Do you decide to starve? And if you do decide to starve, will you usually just end up making a bad decision later? Now, you have to understand that this is not intermittent fasting. Even though you're only having a bar for lunch and a shake for breakfast and a shake for lunch, even though the calories might be low, it is different from intermittent fasting. And if you haven't, adapted to burning fat for fuel, you're going to crash in the afternoon. You do this, shake for breakfast, shake for lunch thing for a while. You wake up, you forget it, you forget to pack it, you're in a rush. What happens in the afternoon? Well, you'll crash because you're still basically a sugar burner. Yes, you are burning more fat, and you're probably releasing, water out of your glycogen stores, but overall, you're still basically a sugar burner. And so you're going to crash in the afternoon. And with that crash, you're going to make a bad decision. How often does this happen? Well, I tried this diet bunches of times, and it all ended up the same way. The first, few weeks, my resolve is strong. But after a couple of weeks, it's like, man, there are too many temptations. I forget my shake. I forgot to drink it in the morning, or I'll drink it and I'll forget to pack it. A million things can go wrong with this kind of diet. Furthermore, does this really fit in with, your lifestyle, that other aspects of your lifestyle? So, for instance, let's say that you have a friend who says, "Hey," and I can't tell you how many times this has happened to me over the course of my life. They say, you're at work. Let's say you packed your protein bar, and you had one for breakfast, and you're 5 days into it, and you're kind of hungry. And your friend says, "Hey, let's go to lunch, my treat, whatever." Um, and what do? I mean, do you never eat lunch with your friends again? No, here's what happens, and I know from experience. What you do is you say to yourself, I'm going to go to lunch, and I'm not going to eat anything. I'm going to eat my candy bar, and then I'll go to lunch, and I'll just try to enjoy the atmosphere. And what ends up happening is you eat your candy bar, and you eat you lunch, you break down, okay? Because the smells are just going to get to you. You're not a fat burner. So you get to the situation, and you break down, and you have um, your your candy bar, and you have the lunch, as well. So that's why those kind of diets break down. All right. So another diet like this is the eating small meals all day long, where you have to eat every 2 hours. I mean, okay, it suffers from all the same stuff that I just talked about previously, but this one actually has a few more complications, and that is, you have to make all these meals. And I say, "Oh, hey, it's no problem. You just take Sunday and make your meals for the week." Yeah, right. Okay. Again, this happens for the first couple weeks because you're all into it. What happens with that one Sunday where you're just too darn tired to get out of bed and make all that stuff? Are you just too busy? Maybe it's a yard cleaning day for you. Maybe you had too much going on at church, and you just, it was a late day at church. They needed somebody to, work the, um, the bakery sale booth or something like that, or you're done with church, and then it's somebody invites you over for a late lunch, and then you come home and it's you barely have any time for the week to rest anyway. And I know how it is because I've been there where for me, at least a large majority of the time, Saturday isn't necessarily a rest day. Saturday is a day where either you're working in the yard or you're going and getting groceries. And so that doesn't really count as a rest day. Then Sunday, if you go to church, you go to church, and then you have like a couple hours in the afternoon where you kind of try to rest, right? Where you try to actually detox and rest from your week. And they're telling you, well, take that time is the only time that you have, and make all your meals. Well, ain't happening. Again, it happens for the first little while, but after the first little while, you just start to slack off on it. So what can you do to fix it? Because this is part of the book. Part of the book is not just what's going wrong with your diet, but the other part of the book is what can you do to fix it? Now, the biggest thing that you can do to fix this problem is by being realistic with a program that you're on, and asking yourself, can I really live this out day to day in my actual life? And another way that you can fix this problem is, or avoiding this problem altogether, it really depends upon how much you understand about nutrition and why you really gain weight. Okay. And the more you understand about that, the more you can make healthy choices anywhere, and the more you can kind of course correct if you make a bad choice. Okay. So, if you're out and, so like you go out, your friends say, so I don't worry about shakes or having something in the morning. I intermittent fast, so it's no big deal for me. But let's just say you're on a low carb diet and you just had, 4 eggs in the morning and a couple pieces of bacon or whatever, and some of your bulletproof coffee, and you're off. And your friend says, hey, let's go to lunch. And you know what, for me, no problem. Hey, yeah, let's go to lunch. Hey, let's hang out, right? So you hang out, and guess what? Well, you know what to eat off the menu. You know not to eat the cheeseburger with the bun. You ask them to give it to you plain. And you know, if there's an organic option, you ask for an organic option. Avoiding this problem really comes down to how well you understand nutrition and how well you understand how the body uh, makes you fat, or how food makes you fat. And also, if it comes up where you kind of cheat one day, where you have a problem and you just break down and you have those French fries because you just didn't want to have the side salad. You said, "Oh, I have the bun. Don't leave the bun off." But you know what? I really want those fries today. So you had the fries. Well, you know how to course correct as well by maybe going on a fast or something like that. So understanding nutrition is really the best way. And then once you understand nutrition, then you say, okay, I can eat anywhere at any time. And that is how you avoid that problem. So I would say that's probably one of the biggest problems with traditional diets. Okay. So what's the second problem? The second problem that I see is that people have unrealistic expectations. All right. That's probably another reason why your diets fail, because you have unrealistic expectations. You don't lose the weight you want to lose, and because of an unrealistic expectation. And so you think to yourself, well, why should I stay on a diet? Because I mean, I'm not losing the weight that I think I should be losing, and I'm giving up all my favorite foods anyway. So this happens for a couple of reasons, and one reason is, like I said, unrealistic expectation. One reason is that you plateau. We'll talk about that in another episode. So you're not losing your weight quick enough. Now, this kind of hit home for me because another work associate of mine, this was back at a previous job, this person saw me kind of cereal diet, and it's true, actually this lady and I were kind of cereal dieters together. And it was like every week I was coming in with the, oh, I'm back on this diet or whatever. Till finally I got my head straightened out. I'm not going to go into all the details here about that. I've done that in previous podcasts, but basically, I finally got on a low carb diet and she saw me lose weight. Okay. Wanted to know what I was doing. Told her about low carb, told her about, what I was doing and all that stuff. At that point, I really wasn't terribly into paleo friendly. I was just more into low carb. Um, she was impressed. She kind of watched me for a little while because, of course, weight comes on and off. I go off a diet, I go on a diet. Eventually, she saw I was losing weight and that I was keeping it off, and I had found a diet that I could really manage, and that was really working. So she decided to try this diet herself. She said, "Oh, I'm going to do it." So week went by. I said, "How's it going?" She said, "Oh, I stopped that diet." I was like, "Why did you stop?" She said, "I only lost 7 pounds in a week." I was like, and my jaw dropped. I'm like, 7 pounds in a week? I said, "That's great. That's a pound a day." I actually did not say that to her. That's what I thought later. I mean, I was literally stunned. Like literally, like, just like, I can't even talk to you. Like, what? I mean, my mind was blown. How is a pound a day is great. It is great. But this was a woman in her 50s, uh, and uh, and she was upset because she only lost a pound a day. I'm like, number one, women unfortunately have more to deal with when it comes to losing weight than men do, and especially older women. You're going to have more challenges because you're going to have more hormonal problems. And she lost a pound a day for 7 days, and I was just like, she was like, "Well, if I was a man, I would have lost more weight." I'm like, "Well, yeah, but you're not, you know." I mean, that's what I was thinking. She went off the diet, and this was completely unrealistic. That is great. Well, I don't know what she was expecting to lose, like 20 pounds in a week or something like that. That's insane. You don't lose that kind of. If you lose 20 pounds in a week, um, chances. I'm not going to say every time, but chances are you're on some type of crazy diet that's not gonna last. There was another person who I took on a client who needed to lose like a significant amount of weight, like over 100 pounds, and they weren't losing it as fast as they wanted to either. They lost some, but then they stopped. And I was just like, you know what? You, if you need to lose more than 100 pounds, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. You're not going to lose it all at once. You didn't get it, all at once. It's not going to come off all at once. You have to be realistic with your expectations. And people if they're unrealistic with their expectations, then then they you're going to go off your diet. So how do you fix this? What can you do to fix it? Well, avoid being unrealistic. You have to be honest with who you are and where you're at. And the longer you've been overweight, the longer you've been fat, the longer it's going to take to get the weight off of you, And if you're an older woman, you have more hormonal challenges. So you just have to be realistic with where you are, and you have to be realistic with the time that it's going to take to get these things off of you. So those are the two big ones that I'm going to talk about today. I will save the rest for next time I'm with you, or I'll do another two. So unrealistic expectations are going to kill your diet. They're going to make you go off your diet. So get some realistic expectations. Be honest with where you're at, and then a diet that you really can't work into your life. Okay, and that is, quick fixes, juice cleanses, kind of a thing. Juice cleanses, it's not bad, but you have to then go on to something that you can do. And the bar a day, for shake in the morning, shake at lunch, just give those diets up. They're fads. They are not going to work for you. They're basically designed to not work. So that's it for me today. Thank you for joining me today on A Mind for Fitness. Hey, if you like this episode, please do me a favor and share it on your favorite social media. Sharing is caring. It helps get the word out about this program. Head on over to Amazon and buy the book Fasting to Break Your Plateau. And also, you can follow us on Facebook at Facebook/A Mind for Fitness, and on Twitter at A Mind for Fitness. And if you're interested in seeing my weight loss progress in losing this last little bit of weight and what I've done already and my vlogs and my breakdowns and my confessions and all that stuff, you have to go over to the YouTube page and hit subscribe on the YouTube page at A Mind for Fitness. And you have to go over to Instagram and follow me at A Mind for Fitness there. Thank you, everybody. And until we meet again, please keep your mind on fitness.